Hey, good morning. Welcome to Resource Prepping. I'm your host, Greg. Are you ready to believe in the deep state now? Are you ready to believe in the conspiracy theory of what the spiritual world has in store for our formerly great country, indivisible under God, which is a lie now? We're hypocrites. Let me recap some of these events and see now if you're ready to believe. Trump defeats Hillary Clinton, the anointed Hillary Clinton, the supposed first woman president, the first woman Secretary of State. The number one passenger on the Lolita Express to Epstein Island was Bill Clinton, where he had his ways with young girls. The same Clinton who destroyed evidence and has never been prosecuted. Nothing has ever happened to her. So Trump wins the election and immediately starts exposing just a little bit of the deep state secrets. Enough to say, wait a minute, hold on a second. What do you mean that's a lie? What do you mean that wasn't true? Because you're not going to get it on any of the propaganda networks. And let me ask you something here. Do you remember seeing President Trump sitting at Bush Sr.'s funeral? Everybody was sitting there. Trump and Melania show up. But in the meantime, and this is on video, everybody's sitting there, and all of a sudden they open up their programs, and there was letters inside those programs that made people go silent, that made people's mouths go agape. This is at the same funeral where Trump's vice president, Mike Pence, was yucking it up with the Clintons, with the Obamas. But when Jeb Bush read that note, he went pale and just stared over at Trump while Trump was sitting there. The buffoon Jimmy Carter was saying, where's my note? Where's my letter? I didn't get anything. That's because he didn't have anything to do. He was an idiot. But all the players and all the lies all got letters, and there hasn't been one explanation of what was in that letter, in that note, in the programs that made the Bushes' mouths go silent. It's because Trump exposed the lies of the Vietnam War. Trump exposed the lies of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. He exposed the deep state in which innocent people were murdered so that the war machine could expand their money and their power and experiment with new weaponry. Nobody has ever once said, this is what's in that note. That nobody has once ever said, showed the letter, the note in the program that caused these Cheneys to sit back and look. Trump is a threat to the deep state. And like I said all along, they have to take him out. So that's the first one. Now all of a sudden the deep state says, wait a minute. We're going to retaliate against Trump. We're going to unleash a virus which was war gamed on Event 201 prior. And all of a sudden, 3 months later, a plague is unleashed against the world in his administration, which millions of people have died, and to make Trump look horrible, to destroy him. They're willing to kill millions of people to defeat this man and destroy him. And hopefully let him catch the virus, which he did, and possibly die. And say, well, that was because of the plague. They destroyed our economy. They destroyed our lives in setting up the future for lockdowns and everything else. But this is the deep state willing to do anything to implement 2030 agenda, which Hillary Clinton was going to do. You had riots in retaliation against the people that support Trump. that voted for Trump. And the deep state says, we'll kill you with plague, but we'll punish you with riots, burning down your cities, injuring your people, changing your history by tearing down statues. And the head of BLM, we collected $65 million, and where are they now? Under indictment for embezzlement, misuse of funds, misappropriation that was supposed to help the underprivileged. Nobody saw a dime of that because it was stolen. It was a payoff by the people who are actually running this world and this country. They have to stop Trump because he's a threat, exposing their secrets, exposing their plans that they don't want the regular people to know and understand and rebel against, because we still have free will. And Trump is part of that free will, and they are going to destroy our free will. They are going to take it from us. They want control, power over our lives, and you see that in this corrupt administration. Phony impeachments pursued, maligning him, saying he did this, making up sentences that never occurred. But we went through 2 phony, fake impeachments. The Democrats, the soulless, godless people that were in charge, have no credibility because they've sold themselves out to the power of the Senate and Congress, the illusion that they live under. Then the January 6th staged event. Yes, there are people that went way too far. Yes, there are people that destroyed property. But the only person that died, that was murdered that day, was an innocent woman shot in the head, murdered by a police officer. You have people waving them in on video, waving them in, having conversations, giving them tours, taking down boundaries. The FBI says, these people are guilty, they're committing insurrection, yet they cannot find the man on video who placed pipe bombs to say that they were as terrorists. Yet they cannot identify someone who was inciting that riot and say, what was his role in that? They still deny that. The phony, fake January 6th Unselect Committee staging false evidence that is being reversed on a daily basis, pointing out to people, saying that this is it, this is them, these are the people that robbed, raped, pillaged our Capitol, putting their feet up on the desk, giving the harshest sentence for standing there in silence outside with a sign, given 2 years in prison and brutally beaten and tortured by these guards. It's all to destroy and retaliate against Trump, against his family, and against the people, burning down the cities, injuring people, to destroy your will to stand up against the deep state. It's all part of the plan. So they couldn't defeat Trump through phony impeachments, through phony trials, so they created a law in New York to get Trump on sexual assault. They created a law that expired. They tried to bankrupt him in a corrupt jury to award this woman who couldn't remember the day it happened, never filed a police report, couldn't remember the clothes, but she wrote a book about it under the law that was created and now has expired, and awarded him to get him to pay money. And now another trial in New York with an absolute corrupt judge to bankrupt him some more, find him guilty on charges that were drummed up, made up, and still the deep state cannot destroy him. Reading the notes here. Now we come to Biden. Open borders to completely remake America, changing America with people that have no intention of speaking English, have no intention of assimilating, and have no intention of making America and upholding the values that has lasted us for so long. Everybody that had eyes to see could tell Biden was an idiot, a puppet, incompetent fool with diminished capacities, and they hid it from him. And the White House doctor, the White House doctor that has certified him fit and able was a partner with James Biden in a corrupt healthcare plan that raked in $200 million and is now defunct. That's the same White House doctor that is in charge of Biden's health until you can no longer hide it, because you still have to have a president out in public. That is now incoherent. Under this administration, it has been broadened out to destroy the family, to attack our children for future generations, to change their thinking, to destroy the morality of the family. Single family homes, single parent homes, children that are confused because they are being taught by teachers. You could be anything you want to be sexually. You could change your sex at any time. It's a lie. Straight from hell, straight from the devil. God created one man, one woman, and no matter how many times you put on a wig, put on lipstick, add fake breasts, your chromosome, your DNA still says you're a man or a woman. You cannot change what God has created, but they're trying. The propaganda networks are all liars, and they're in part of the deep state because they are controlled by people with all the money and the power, and they say, you report what I tell you, you be a good boy, and we'll reward you. They want to destroy the family so there's no resistance. They want to censor so we cannot talk. They want to ban the Bible so we don't know the laws, the rules. And now they said, well, we failed everything else, so let's escalate the severity and actually try and kill Trump. All the people that are involved with this cover-up, and it is a cover-up, have lawyered up. The head of the Secret Service, a woman who was in charge of PepsiCo International Security, has shut up, has not answered any questions except minor details, but still is not answered. How could you march a president, former president, and someone who is running for president again on stage in an open line of view of a roof 130 yards away? Perfect kill shot. How could you do that? How could you not secure that building? How could you do a sweep of the perimeter Friday night and not discover where this man, this 20-year-old man, hid his rifle, climbed down and retrieved his rifle and went back up? How could you not see someone climbing on the roof? How could you ignore a dozen people pointing to the roof saying, there's a guy up there on a rifle with a rifle crawling on his belly? Who could ignore that? Why were you short of Secret Service agents? Why was there no drones flying? And why are you not answering questions and yet are lawyering up? Why is the FBI in charge of the investigation when this same FBI is took part of the political coup against Trump? FBI agents actually lied under oath. The same FBI that has said Trump is guilty. Hunter Biden's laptop is Russian disinformation when they knew perfectly well it wasn't. They had it and they verified it was Hunter Biden's laptop with all the truth in it, yet they buried it. This is the same FBI who, as of yesterday, had agents on top of that roof from where the shooter laid down and took a shot at Trump, sanitized that roof, washed it down, swept it down, sanitized it, and made sure there was no evidence of that shooter on the roof. That's not their job. Why are they up there doing that? The FBI has never done that before. Why did they do it now? Why were the police and Secret Service agents inside the very building in which the shooter placed a ladder against the building and climbed right on up? Why are these people not answering questions? Why have these people shut up? Merrick Garland has made no statements. The Department of Justice has said nothing. No investigation. No independent investigator. Yet they try to ruin Trump through phony lawsuits, mishandling documents. Yet Biden had a garage full of them sitting out in the open. This is the same Department of Injustice under Merrick Garland. Alejandro Mayorkas, the head of Homeland Security, in which the Secret Service falls under, has said nothing other than it shouldn't have happened. That's a lie. This is the same man that has open borders and says they're still secure. This is the same man that says we have it under control. He's a liar. He's a puppet. Christopher Wray has said, I'm not providing any answers in an open environment. Why? Because he wants to have closed doors to talk to the same people, the uniparty, the same players, Mike Turner, Dave Joyce, the same people that have voted against impeaching Mayorkas sitting on the House Intelligence Committees. The same people that refuse to have people held accountable. Merrick Garland, Turner and Joyce voted against having him arrested because he refuses to give up tapes. There is so much more to this conspiracy, so much deeper. Most people will not accept and comprehend how deep this goes because they have to stop Donald Trump from exposing the deep state secrets that they want to keep. The JFK assassination, the Vietnam War, the Iraq, and everything else. He is willing to tell the people, to give power back to the people, which the deep state, the puppeteers, cannot have because we still have free will and free thinking. All these people have lawyered up and are not talking. They have no answers as to why they marched out a man in clear line of sight to be assassinated. And what would have happened had he been assassinated? The world would have been in upheaval as we know it. Joe Biden would still be president instead of flailing around lying. And the Agenda 2030 would go in force. And there would possibly be a civil war, a disruption that we've never seen the likes of before, and enter in the Antichrist through the chaos. Lawlessness across this land is something we cannot control. Merrick Garland is compromised and is a liar because he sold himself out for power. Local prosecutors have sold themselves to climb up the ladder of power, so they think. For money. Fannie Willis, however you want to pronounce it, stashing millions in her house. Thousands of dollars exposed. Millions in trips. Millions in donations. Senator Menendez, another international player, convicted. 18 counts, bribery, scandals, gold bars. Gold Bar Bob, that's what they nicknamed him. Inside his jacket, throws his wife underneath the bus saying that's her money. All these people have sold themselves out to the deep state. It doesn't matter. These are puppets. The people that breathe the air that is so rare, so valuable, and so beyond our comprehension are the ones that are pulling the state. And what now is going to happen? Biden is going to be eliminated because he failed. The people around Biden are going to be eliminated, moved out of office. I'm waiting for bodies to start showing up. But what will happen next, I truly believe, will be the part where the chaos will ensure, and that can only be a nationwide attack of some sort. A major blackout. They're already saying 4 farm workers have been infected with bird flu. Is that a signal another plague is coming? Possibly. But I strongly suspect a massive attack of some sort, putting us in the dark to create chaos and panic. The stores shutting down, famine, riots, and everything else will usher in the Antichrist. People say, Trump, you moved your head at the last minute, God intervened. You think this isn't spiritual warfare? Do you think that this isn't a war between good and evil? America has turned its back on God. God moved Trump's head so he could be elected, and the rebellion will go forward even more. Chaos will ensue with the election of Trump. There will be no unity. It will become more violent than before because it has to escalate even more. Trump set back 2030 agenda by 4 years. They now have to double down to bring it in even faster. And that means greater steps, more magnitude, more intensity to usher in the Antichrist. Why do you think 2030 agenda is set in stone? That's my take. That's my belief. Let's see if I'm right. There will be no peace under Trump. The deep state will see to that. You have 2 divisions of military-age males in the United States. They're not here to open up Chinese restaurants. They're not here to do laundry. They're not here to be going to school or be interpreters or going to colleges. They're here to incite trouble, riot, and become the military of the Democrats and the Uniparty. That's my take. You think about it. Greg out.